Okay. Sima, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Einav. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the last quarterly update of 2024. We're going to review November release highlights. Before we're diving into the details, let's briefly review the timelines. Sandbox installation took place this week on Sunday, and production installation is scheduled for November 2nd. An important note for Primo Classic, starting from 2026, we will be delivering Primo Classic installations once a year on annual basis, and the next installation is going to take place on May. As Einav mentioned, please write your questions in the Q&A section and we'll make sure we're addressing everything at the end of the session. And what we're going to cover today. The enhancements that are relevant for the current UI are the two following curve submissions. The first one is the DEI term tool enhancement, which consists of 3 parts. And the second one is the facet for physical availability. The ones that are relevant for the NDE UI is the launch and timeline update. Neil is going to guide us through the latest update of the NDE UI, the resources which are available, the getting started process, core features that are now aligned with the current UI, and exciting new features, the digital viewer and the natural language search. In the end, we're going to cover also additional notable items. Let's start from the Better DEI term tool enhancement. This enhancement consists of 3 parts which were requested in the curve submission. The first one is wildcard functionality. We added wildcard functionality allowing to match to be found of words, not only an exact search, but also a word as part of a broader term. And we'll see it in a minute. The second one is the substitute of terms. Until now, the DEI term tool was about removing problematic or outdated terms. And with this part, you will be able to replace the terms with a new term, which you will decide in the configuration. The third part is flagging records as DI sensitive. So you will be able to align the language of your institution to the language here, and to flag records as DI sensitive and to add your own wording for this indication. Let's see the configuration, but let's see it in live. I'm going to Alma. It's the same place where the DI term tool was stored until now. In the configuration discovery, we have this entry DI list of terms to exclude from heading. I'll click on it, and this configuration was extremely enhanced. In the Primo Classic configuration, it will look quite different. It requires specific syntax instead of this functionality, instead of this configuration, but the end goal is the same, removing, allowing all those modes of also removing as we previously had, but replacing also and marking records as DA sensitive. And what we have here, when I add a row over here, I can write the term which I found as less preferred or outdated. I select the action type. I will have 3 action types: remove, which is the action that we used to have until now. All your existing entries should be now segmented as remove action type. We have here replace, allowing you to substitute a problematic term with a different one, and none if you would like to take this value and to mark it as DEI sensitive. Replace mode also can be marked as DEI sensitive. And let's see which configuration I have over here. I apologize for the words. I have over here a term the black race, which I would like to not to remove or to substitute. I would just like to mark it as DI sensitive and to allow and to write this text when I hover the indication. This is one entry that I added. Another one which is relevant is over here. I added the term illegal alien. I would like to replace it. I would like to mark it also as DEI sensitive, and the new term, which will be the substituted one, is unauthorized immigrant. Okay, and let's see this example of illegal alien, how it being replaced by unauthorized immigrant and being marked as DEI sensitive in Primo. I will submit a search of this beep record. 1 second. This is the MMS ID, which I'm searching. I will click on it, see the full record page, and I will go to the subjects. Over here, you will have to believe me because I didn't show it to you before. Now, the subject was replaced with unauthorized immigrant. And I have here also this DEI sensitive indication. This is the wording that I added there in the configuration. This is the first example. The second example is I added this term, the black's race. I selected the scope part of phrase, meaning this is the wildcard. I don't want to look only for the exact phrase, but I want to find it as part of a broader phrase. And I would like to mark it as DI sensitive. I'm going to submit a search now. Over here, I'll copy this phrase and I will search. Okay, let's see the facets, the subject facets, which values I have here. Black's race identity and Black's race identity Great Britain. It was able to identify both because I marked it as part of a term. We have here the DI indication, which with the wording that I selected, same here. Those are the free modes, and you can select the scope are either to select exact or part of phrase. Let's move on to the next curve enhancement, the facet for availability, physical availability. With this enhancement, we're actually going beyond the existing held by library facet. The held by library facet indicates for the users which bibliographic records have physically held by the library items. But we would like to reflect more specific indication, the current availability on the shelf based on the calculation of the items. And with this new facet, the available on shelf will be able to provide this transparency to their user in real time. What it requires from you. You will need to go to Alma Discovery Customer Settings and to enable this customer setting. Then you will need to either ask from support team to run indexing or to wait for the semi-annual indexing. You will be able also to exclude specific locations from this facet. You don't need to include all the facets, all the locations in this facet. And this is a new configuration that is now available for you under the Discovery menu. And the name of this new configuration is the Exclude Libraries and Locations from Available on-shelf facet. Nearly over to you.
Thank you, Sima. I'd like to share more information about this milestone of opening the NDE UI to all. So let me know that you see my screen. Great. Just a second.
Yes, we can see.
Just a second. Okay, so we are launching the NDE UI. This is after intensive work, also collaborative with the community. And we'd like to thank all of those live customers that are here and went live so far with the NDE UI for working together and moving forward and giving us the feedback. So we are excited to have now the NDE UI available for all. You will be able to see it in both your sandbox environment and in productions that will be installed 2 weeks from now. And we also encourage the one that went live to go ahead and share with the others blogs to share for the experience so others can learn. Talking to the Primo working group, we decided that the way to do that is to use the blog within the developer network. There is also a blog here, how to post a blog, and you can see like Haifa University already post their experience with Go Live and also others. So you can go ahead and also check for the more on Primo V and the customization shared by other, and also things that we made by ourselves. So we encourage you, well, experience to think on other and help with that as a collaborative community. Okay, now more on what to expect, what is the timeline. As I share, as we saw, we already have our first customer going live, and now we are within November release when it's available for all. Now we would like to have a time frame for the transition to the NDE UI, and we don't want it to be like previously moving to the new UI where it lasts more than 6 years working with the Primo working group, and we put a time frame here, and now knowing that, it will help you plan accordingly. So we are defining that 26 and 27 years are for the mass onboarding for all of the customer. During 27, we will check the one that is still not on board and see what's going, how to help with the onboarding. We are targeting to be in the phase of that in January 28, the NDE UI will be the exclusive UI for Primo VE. What does it mean? It means that you should start plan transition, think of your go live date and know accordingly. You should know that there are some new functionality that will be available on the NDE UI. We will see it soon, like the natural language sets, the new Alma Digital Viewer, and we would like to support the community with that mass onboarding. To do that, we are offering twice a year a cohort program. So ideally from now until 28, we will have a 5 cohort program, and you are welcome to join. It's actually a 4-week structured program where we send in each week what you should do with all available resources, and you can also join from a collaborative asking each other, not only us through the support case. So we publish under the Go NDE folder, you will find so under the Go NDE folder, you will find this cohort program, and in the registration, so far it's closed for the upcoming cohort, but you will also find what the outcomes, and you can be familiar with the weeks. Of course, you don't have to wait for the cohort. The Go NDE is a self-switch, and there are transition steps and material already available over there, so you don't have to wait. But if you do want to gain from that, just learn and read more in that program. And the next available program will be in May. We are starting with 60 customers that already registered for the cohort program that is starting in November 3rd. And we will also learn and shape it according to the experience of working with these 60 customers. As we are telling on the NDE UI being exclusive, it also impacts our existing interface, which will start a gradual sunset for that. So just be aware of that. What does it mean that NDE UI is now available for all? How do I get started with that? I'd like to do that on live demo, and then we'll return for that. So what does it mean now for you to have NDE available for you? It means that you can go into Discovery Configure View, that screen, and you will be able to see a new column, NDE. It means that now you can work in parallel. You can have your Primo VE view, the existing Primo VE here, and you can create a new NDE view. By default, any create of new ND or create of new view will be automatically enabled as NDE. If you still want to create a VE view, you just can uncheck this one. Okay, so by default, any view that you're creating is NDE view. And to start with a good and strong starting point, you will find if you stand on Primo VE or your live VE view, you will be able to go ahead and do that duplicate for NDE. And if you do that duplicate for NDE, okay, you will find, you will be able to clone all of the setup from your VE into that view, meaning the same facet definitions, the same labels, the same features enabled, and all of that will be cloned. Just as a reminder, from the moment that you are cloning, there is no link. So now after you clone, if you activate it here, you will have to go ahead and activate it on that. So to choose the right time frame for that cloning as well. And now you can use the go to view button here in order to go to the NDE. If you go to NDE, okay, the path will be NDE instead of the discovery. This is the NDE home, the landing mode. I changed my view to the demo free, and actually this is the view that I just created, NDE home, and this is my NDE view. It will utilize the same scope that I've defined, the same main menu, same facets and all of that. So this is what I'm referring as a strong starting point. So you will find that getting started also as part of the Go NDE transition steps. I will show you that document in a minute. So as I mentioned, you can choose to create a new view or duplicate one. You can work in production in parallel to your existing Primo VE with no impact for your current live view. So you can do that. And this is the instruction how to access the NDE. Okay, where do you find all of the resources? How can you learn more on the Go NDE? You will find the new documentation under the Go NDE folder. You'll see the Go NDE folder with all of those information. Just a second. So you will find all resources in one place, and you see the steps, roadmap. If you are missing a feature, you want to see when it's going to be delivered, it's here. How to enable, how to get started, which is just show you an overview of the configuration, what was changed. For instance, a dedicated request area, the language menu is not part of the user area menu, the digital viewer, all of that. Page that explain all of the customization best practices. As one of the impact of the NDE is you will need to rebrand. Your customization will not carry over from your existing view to your NDE view. We have also a training video, 8 minutes, that can explain how to do that for the basic branding. And of course, frequently asked questions and the cohorts that I just mentioned. So all resources are here. You can also find this page useful. There are resources here, upcoming webinars that will have upcoming webinar. Next week we have a review of the NDE configuration webinar. We are planning to have more for consortia and more utilities, more information about Mixpanel. Part of the NDE is that you are also benefit from new analytics platform. Very excited. All of the resources to point you from you can see here, and some utilities like how to identify new labels and videos that you can manage, more customization. Go ahead and read. As I mentioned, we also plan some webinars to support you with this onboarding. Okay, so in this specific release, in November release, we also added to the NDE the feedback tool. the QR code. I will show you in a minute a few slides on that. For consortia, the online services from other institutions. We are going to do an exciting demo for the Alma Digital Viewer that is now automatically embedded in a nice way in the full display, and more on the link data person page, the person entity that we just delivered in September. And of course, you can learn more on what is upcoming soon with the NDE. More updates. So far, in order to be able to deliver for those early adopters that work with us more fast features, we worked in the NDE on monthly basis. Starting from February 26, we are moving to quarterly basis, as today in Primo features will be delivered on quarterly basis, and issue will be resolved and delivered on monthly basis. For accessibility, and I also wanted to share on that. For accessibility, we already published in May the VPAT. We already shared in May, there is an updated VPAT that is scoped to the pages that were delivered from May. We just completed in September additional audit round for the accessibility, and the new issues that were found over there will soon be published as part of the non-issues portal. So in November, we are going by the end of November, we are going to update the VPAT based on the second audit, and also to publish all of the remaining accessibility issues that were found in that audit. We already did fixed and validated in that second audit. Once we complete with resolving all of the issue, we plan to have a third round of auditing in 26 to validate all of the results issues. So we'll have an additional update in 26 for the VPAT after resolving the majority of those issues. So we are also on track with the accessibility plan, and it should be transparent for you. Okay, what's coming in November for the NDE UI? You can see that we are added the QR. Unlike today, the QR is going to be part of the main menu pages and not next to the pin icon as in the existing UI. We just did this relocation. It gives you control to, as you can see, to order the main menu entries differently. If I'll do a demo, short demo for that, you can see that now the QR is moved to here, and this header is available from every page in the interface. So every page will get a different QR or a link. So this was about the QR code. More, we also added this feedback tool. You can see now this is the icon for the feedback tool, and it will utilize your existing categories that you defined for your VE view. If you choose to duplicate, it will also copy that one. So you will have your setup already configured and utilized, so you can have that feedback tool also now in the NDE UI. For consortia, we are offering online services from other institutions now with the November release. It's now should be part of it will be appear in a dedicated section in the full records display and not under the online services, but you will see it online services from other institutions that can be collapsed and expanded. Okay, more on the link data. We are also in September make the link data available. Let's see if I go here. Just a second to that environment. Okay, let's see if I'm going to search for Harry Truman or yeah, I'm being suggested. Just a second. Okay, so you can see that now I'm being suggested in the autocomplete with this with also the image. I've been suggested to go to the person page. I want to see more about Harry Truman. So one way to go to the person page is through the autocomplete. If I go that, this will be the Harry Truman person page. More information coming from Wikipedia, the copyrights you can see here, and title that were written by and about, and more connected people. So this is um, part of the link data. You can see that also if I open one of the books, I will be able to see the related entity of the link data in the NDE, very similar to the way that we have today in Primo VE. If I want to see more, we'll open a side panel. Yeah, if I want to see more on that. So this is about the link data person entity. More exciting is that we are now having a new improved Alma Digital viewer. It's based on Meridor, which is an open source that we took and adjusted. And it have a lot of key features that can be utilized, like zoom, scroll, downloaded, indexing, all of the share and export options, in image text, and all of that. You can go ahead and read more about that. So that viewer is going to be embedded automatically within our full display for digital resources, and you can enjoy and enrich user experience for those resources. Let's do a demo for that. Let's see. Yeah. So you can see here how a digital resources page within the full records display looks like. You can see the details here. You can see also related records. If I go into the Beatles collection discovery, I can see how also images, more images, and also this viewer now is being supported not only for images, also for documents like PDF, not yet supported for audio and video. For audio and video, you will be able to go through the digital versions until this will be developed. So this is about the viewer, the new embedded viewer in the NDE. Next, moving to the natural language search. So let's see my demo these exciting features also.
Thanks, Neely. I guess you see my screen now, right?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so indeed, this is an exciting feature. The natural language search came following a lot of feedback that we got about the research assistant, about the usefulness that you, the community, and your users found following the ability of the research assistant to search in natural language. Instead of obligating the users to think in keywords and operators, user can simply type their question and focus on what they need rather on structuring correctly their question. And here we released the natural language search. It's configurable in view level. First of all, this is active by default. Those institutions which are live with NDE, Neely just shared who they are. We already reached out to them and let them know that this is going to be released in November with the enabled checkbox, and they need, if in case they don't need yet to use it and would like first to test it in another view, they can obviously deactivate it. And what does it mean? We have this new Ask Anything button, and when I click on it, I'm getting this new overlay window where I first can select the scope that I would like to search in. All my scopes of the institution are available here. I'm not restricted to any search scope. I can search in all my library resources. I can type my question in a natural language search as I would talk to a colleague. I can see the recent searches, submit the search, and once I submit the search, Primo calls the LLM, large language model. We're using OpenAI GPT-4.1 mini. We're sending only the query, only the user question, and we're asking the LLM to convert it into a Boolean query, but first to identify some facets and some advanced search fields. And let's see it, a real example. I went to Primo, NDE. This enhancement is relevant for NDE UI. I will click on the Ask Anything, and here I can see this new search window. I can select the relevant scope, and I will start typing my question. I would like to ask this search, show me available articles discussing the impact. Obviously, if I had a typo, it should know how to handle it, of artificial intelligence on healthcare. Okay, and I'm going to submit the search. Behind the scenes, Primo does all the heavy lifting by identifying what happened here. That's really strange. And this invites the testing environment, so it might has its own issues. Strange. Let's select another scope. It might be a data issue over here if something ran just before. Okay, that's really strange. I demoed it before and it worked perfectly. 1 second, I'll try again. Ask anything. Let's copy the question again. Shouldn't happen, something internal in our testing environment probably. Okay, no idea what happened. I'll check it. Anyway, here I wrote the same question just again, and I got this list of results. And let's see what Primo identified. Primo identified that the resource type is article. I asked, show me available online articles, and the resource type was identified as articles. The available online top-level facet was identified as well over here. So those two facets were identified. I can open the facets. I can continue my discovery experience by selecting any facets, filters, anything that the traditional Primo search that the user is used to allows them to do. We have 3 useful links over here. The first one is the edit button, which allows the user to refine or to redefine their question. I can click on the simple search and to go to submit a new search, simple search, and not having the natural language search in it. I can click on the generated query, and this one is extremely useful. When I click on the generated query, I will be able to see behind the scenes what happened, which Boolean query was generated. For each one of those fields, title, description, general, and table of content, we have ran these 6 sophisticated permutations when there is an OR operator between them. And you can see the different permutations over here. So beyond identifying some of the facets and advanced search fields, we were composing from the rest of the query those 6 permutations. And now I would like to show you also a question in a local language, not only in English. Let's go and add it, and I'm going to type a question, or actually copy paste a question in German. And the meaning of this question in German, here, this is my question, and the meaning is list me books published since 2020 about artificial intelligence. Let's submit a search. And let's see what happened. First of all, I asked for books published since 2020. The creation date range was selected as 2020 to 2025. The resource type is books, as I requested in my question. And when I go to generated query to see what was the Boolean query that was generated, I can see over here 6 permutations of the query that was left after the identification of the Boolean query of the book and the date range, and what the LLM generated for us from this remaining query. And we can see here that though we have 6 permutations, some of them in German and some of them in English. And the reason that we are doing it, generating permutations both in German and in English, because we would like to provide the best resources for the user. Assuming that there are no maybe resources for this specific topic in their language, we would like to provide them perhaps English resources to complete their research. So we saw over here 2 questions that I ran, one in English and the relevant facets and the Boolean query that was generated. And we saw also a question in German and how we dealt with it. Okay, actually, we would like to hear your feedback about the natural language search, so don't hesitate to send me emails directly with any feedback that you can provide. And we hope that you will find it efficient. Now to the additional notable items. First, we have the enhancement which is relevant for consortia, the hide from network. The hide from network is a new configuration for the consortia members, for the IZ, what we're calling the institution, where the institution selects conditions, and based on these conditions, those records will not be published, will not be visible for the other members and for the network. And this configuration is called hide from network. You can find it in the release notes. There is actually this specific item was not documented yet in the release notes, and we noticed it yesterday. So don't worry, it will be documented in the release notes in the 1 or next 2 days. Nili, can you tell us about the rest of the additional notable items?
Yes, of course. So more things coming from CDI. We are now having a new CDI document attribute, this new secondary resource type, which is called Open Educational Resources, mainly to reflect more learning material. So if such resource was identified, article was identified as supporting learning material, it will be flagged, as you can see in that screenshot, as an open educational resource. This enhancement is both for the Primo VE and both for Primo Classic customers. More, CDI also worked as part of a NERS, a curve enhancement, on having a new resource type named transcript. So far, those resources were tagged as text resource. With the November release, it will be marked as transcript. Now, this is being delivered by CDI. If you are a Primo Classic customer, we ask you to add manually those codes to support the transcript so it's look nice, because those codes will not manage to enter the November release for that. So please read the release note and make sure this will be to add those manually. Okay. Next.
The release notes are already available. You can take a look into the Primo VE and the Primo Classic release notes and the sneak peek what we're going to deliver in February already in 2026. The first curve submission is going to be developed, and this is the need efficient way to test discovery normalization rules. This is a request that came from the community with the curve submissions, and you were asking for additional records, a set of records to test the normalization rules with them. In the NDE UI, we will going to deliver the additional entities. Currently we support the person entity in the link open data, and with the February release, we're going to add also location and organization entity with similar flows and user experience to the person entity. Nili, can you tell us about the rest?
Yes, of course. Sorry, I was answering some question in the chat. Of course. Okay, in what is coming more in NDE UI, we are going to have the book chapters, more exploration coming to the full display. Book chapters are going to be added over there. We also want to answer some of the requests from the community. In the NDE UI, we made the filters closed by default. One of the feedback that we got is let us, the library, decide whether we want to edit close by default or open. So we are going to add a configuration for that for you to determine the setup. Our recommendation is to go close, and once user decides we'll open that, but it's up to you now to decide that. So it's going, don't customize that. It will be part of the configuration. Of course, we also are going to work to support customers that are on board with the NDUI. So you will see also more tasks that will be delivered to support that onboarding. Yeah, that's it for now. And I think it's time for questions, which is also okay. One of the things that was questions about terminology. When I said Primo Classic, we refer to the Primo back office. Maybe we'll say Primo back office for that. For Primo VE, NDE or the existing interface, it's the same Primo VE. Just want to highlight here all of these data workflows, import profile jobs, definition of resource type, definition of local fields. It's all part of the administration for Primo VE. Okay, so we are still calling it Primo VE. Just we have the original UI in the documentation. You find the original UI as a terminology for the existing interface, and NDE UI for the new interface. So just to help you navigate across. Okay, more questions to answer. Is it still planned to have Union View support and library card view activities in other institutions in December? Yes, that is on track. The Union View is currently in work, and also the library card for consortia showing an overview of all of the user activation. No need to click on the institution. Whatever the enhancements that you wanted to have is coming in December. Yes. Sorry for not mentioning that. I would suggest to go and see the available features. We just give a brief things. Go and track the available features for the NDE UI because it reflects more in drill down what is coming in each month. Okay, what about Hebrew natural language head? You want to take that, Seema?
Yeah, Neil, so I'll start from the questions also in the beginning. Do the DEI replace term get index for searching? The DEI replace term replaces the display section. It's not affecting even the facets because we don't want to interfere the indexing. It's quite complex to switch values on real in the indexing and not only in the display. Therefore, the replace mode affect the display section. It doesn't affect the index, no. How does the indexing work with the replaced term? Will searches for the new term find the records? No, when replacing the term, we're not changing the index, we're changing the display on the fly when presenting the page on the client side. Is there a maximum number of locations you can exclude from the available on-shelf facet? I don't remember that we discussed it. We might added a preventative measure, just a preventative threshold for it. I'm not sure that we even did. If you encounter any issue in adding many locations, please let us know, and I can check it further with development. But I'm not. We didn't have any, I think, business decision to limit it. We might have a technical one. When is the next semi-annual re-indexing? The next semi-annual re-indexing is running during January and completes at the beginning of February. Looking for more questions relevant for those topics.
I will answer. Will add changes such as semantic search be enabled by default in NDE? Said this is very challenging since releases are applied overnight, making it very difficult to make changes before user may see it. I would like to emphasize for NDE, if you choose and go with the NDE duplicate mode, it will copy your existing setup as it is. If you create a new NDE view, such a feature as a natural language search for new view will be automatically enabled, but you can disable that. So just be aware of the difference between the duplication and the working in new.
Yeah, as Lily mentioned, it is active by default, and the reason that we did it is because we were considering it. Actually, we had a lot of internal discussions about it. We wanted to put it as part of the default offering. We wanted this feature to be enabled by default. We still don't have a lot of customers which are live with the NDE, and Lily shared before how many do we have. So we just reach out to those that are already live, and we let them know. We totally understand that it requires this change. If we would have thousands of customers or hundreds of customers over a NDE UI live with the NDE UI, we might decided differently. But since we have only couple of customers, we did decide to go in the direction of enabling it by default and notifying those customers in advance so they will be able to prepare. But I totally understand this feedback. We had a lot of brainstorm exactly because we knew that there would be customers that are thinking that way. But we thought that with our decision, we might help customers and maybe encourage this feature and not just bury it in a lot of other configurations. Obviously, it can be deactivated very easily, but going to the configuration view and just unticking the checkbox of the enable natural language search. Primo Research Assistant excludes collection from Elsevier, JSTOR, etc. in the search scope. Is that true for the new natural language search option as well? No, it's not the same thing. What the Research Assistant does is reading the abstracts and composing an answer. And this is the challenges that we're having with some of the providers with the access to those, to their resources. For the natural language search, it's totally different. It's just as we would be searching in our Primo, in the standard Primo search. In any other, we're not reviewing all the repository, we're just reviewing the scope that the user selects. And that's the difference between the Research Assistant and the natural language search. The natural language search is assisting us with this block of functionality of the searching, we're not composing an answer, etc. So no, we don't have those challenges there. It's quite different. Is the natural language search part of current VE or NDE? It's part of the NDE UI. Can advanced search be configured to retain terms from the Origoma basic simple search as in the configuration with DE? That is our preference based on feedback from users. I'm not sure that I understand this question. If you can elaborate, if I understand correctly, you would like to configure by yourself the advanced search fields that will be selected, then no, we are not doing it that way. We currently suggest this set of fields and we can consider it. But if you mean something different, then please let us know in the chat, in the Q&A. Is this natural language functionality only available in NDE or is it also available in the current UI? Only in the NDE UI. Will the natural language search replace the Primo Research Assistant? That's an interesting question that we are facing right now. It's not going to replace anyway. We are thinking about ways to combine those two and to provide a coherent and easy user experience for the users. So it's not going to replace, but it might come together. We're thinking maybe how to mitigate it somehow easier to understand for the user, in which tool to use and when. So we might find a unified solution for those, but full replacement it's not going to be just a full replacement. Why doesn't the generated query show the date and material type that have been identified? Will they be? The generated query show the generated query without the advanced search fields that were identified. For example, if I would identify one of the identifiers, ISSN, ISBN, etc., then those were searchable against the identifiers fields, and they were not included in the Boolean query. The Boolean query, the fields that were searched against the subject, general, title, a table of content, those are we are reducing deliberately. We are reducing the ones that were identified as facets like creation date or a resource type, because we don't want to search for book inside the title for the term book or the variation of book. Book is a book and we were able to identify it. This was the purpose of identify it with the facets, and the rest of the query is being searched as a Boolean query. In the natural language search, where users know the resources are in a non-English language, can they specify a target language to generate keyword in the language and possibly set appropriate facet? So actually this is one of our next directions. When a user asks for a specific language, we need to enforce the resources to be in this specific language. And we will work on it on the next sprints. Can you explain in more detail what the hide from network consortia item is, what it is being hidden? Is this set in the NZ or IZ? This is a configuration that is being done, will be configured by the administrator of the IZ of the one of the institutions, assuming that one of the member doesn't want to share their specific collection with all the network, with the other members and the network zone. So they will need to configure a condition which will match those records that they would like to hide. For example, collection equals to X, and those records will not be visible when searching in the scope, in the everything scope of the other institutions. When other institutions will search, they will not be able to find those records. The instance of OpenAI ChatGPT 4.1 mini, are they running on OpenAI servers or in Exlibris server? So we are reaching out to OpenAI GPT 4.1 mini for their service. We are sharing with them the question, only the question. Natural language search. What does searching in index general mean? This is one of the one of the fields. It's a general. I'm not sure if it's looking into the abstract or I can check what exactly it's searching against it, but this is the same field as you would search in the advanced search field, general. What about the Hebrew natural language search? The natural language search available in all local languages, not only in English. If you identify any issue, please report us if you see not adequate language support. But officially, we are letting you know that we are supporting all languages. Person card feature. Are you going to add support for additional VIAF vocabularies? For example, Swedish Authority Record, CELIB are not supported yet, according to. Right, we're currently supporting the vocabularies that are included in the VIA file. For those that are not included, you will be looking into adding additional vocabularies. And yeah, we understand the feedback about turning it off, the feature in the middle of the night, and we sincerely apologize. And that's why we reached out to you in advance, because we know that there are 7 customers and we are not 7 customers. Every customer is a world to us, but we really were sincerely asking if you can deactivate it if you don't want it to be active.
I will try to answer some of on the cohort. So some of the question is when is the next cohort and when it will publish. So as I mentioned, we are starting for 60 customers that register cohort in November. Next cohort is in May. And I think we will open registration the end of Q1. So probably in our next What's New, we'll publish those registration forms, so you will be able to register for the May cohort. And we can also share experience more on how it works back then.
Will the Ask Anything search remain optional, or do you plan at some time in the future to make it a default feature? At this stage, we plan to add it as optional. So is it that the date, material, or material type facets are applied after the search is run, not as part of the query? In natural language search, could other facets possible be applied? Yes, we are setting the LLM a list of facets that we think that we came to the conclusion that we can identify in a good matter, and those are being identified. After we identify specific fields, we're not including it in the Boolean query. And all of this is applied, both the search of the fields in the advanced search field, as we saw, and also the facets are applied. Follow-up clarification: Celib, the Swedish authority record, is part of VF, but not supported yet by Exlibris in Primo's person card features. Is this authority type exist in CZ, in Alma? Because we support the vocabularies that exist in VF and also part of the CZ, the community zone. If it is not part of the community zone, then this is a prerequisite for it. But please send me an email and let's take it offline and see what we can do. Is there any way for the user to confirm they agree with the facets? I guess it's about the natural language search, or learn how to regenerate the search manually themselves. Of course, the user see the facets as they are identified on the screen. They can untick it, the relevant facets, and to search without them. Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you will find this release beneficial.
Thank you very much. And just want to remind that there is this next week, this webinar on reviewing the NDE configuration. Go ahead, register. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.